Hello, friends. Welcome inside, at least for me, Ben Garrett, the Riverland Roofing Studios. Riverland Roofing for all your roofing needs, 662-644-4297. That man beside me is one Brad Logan. We both cover Ole Miss for the Ole Miss Spirit, omspirit.com, and affiliate of On 3. The QR code that just popped up on your screen is for the Ole Miss Spirit, and we'd love to have you today. New members can try us out for $1 5 days before it switches to an annual sub just by scanning that QR code. The Ole Miss Spirit, omspirit.com, and affiliate of On 3. Like I said, we're brought to you by Riverland Roofing, among others, including B&A Bank, Drew Moke of USA Benefits Group, College Corner, Allen Samuels, Chrysler Dodge, Jeep Ram of Oxford, C Spire, Game Day Haircuts of Oxford, and the Hearn Law Firm. For all your legal needs, contact them today. But Riverland Roofing, our thanks to them, 662-644-4297. Just getting started here on Talk of Champions on this Saturday, May 9th. Wow, it's already May 9th, 2026, and Brad Logan is at the Grove Collective Tailgate. Hey, Brad, how you doing?
Hello, Ben. Hope everybody's doing well. It's absolutely beautiful. As you look behind me, you can see the baseball field to my left. The Grove Collective event is over to my right, and people are starting to filter in. By the way, they would love to have you. If you're not a member of the Grove Collective, you can join today, and they'll be glad to take your donation. Take it to the Grove Complimentary Tailgate crew today. So how about that? They're donating their time and money and food, everything to donate to the Grove Collective. You could be a part of the Grove Collective. Just go to grovecollective.com. We're going to hear from William Evans of the Grove Collective here in just a little bit. Tell us about the event and some things that they have moving forward. I know, Ben, we're going to hear from a couple of different people today about how Ole Miss is raising money in this whole world of NIL, and that's kind of what we'll get to today. Before we get too far down the road, how about the Rebels last night? A big win over Texas A&M. Hunter Elliott was a lot of people were scratching their head about Hudson Calhoun being pulled late in the game. Obviously, it was to get him plenty of innings for today. They'll play 2 today beginning at 2 p.m., and then Walker Hooks comes in and did a fantastic job closing the game out. And it was a big, big win for Ole Miss last night. And obviously, my Bianco knows a lot more baseball than I do, because I was one of them kind of raising my hand. Hey, if Hudson Calhoun's doing what he needs to do, leave him in. Obviously, he knows a lot more than I do. So big win last night. They'll have a chance to go for 2 today. We'll break the numbers down, Ben. If you look at it, I think from a numbers perspective, Ole Miss needs 3 out of the next 5. Is that correct, to get to 16 or 17?
Yeah, that's the general feel I get, is for Ole Miss to feel confident about an NCAA regional host, which would be their second consecutive NCAA regional host after last year hosting for the first time in 4 years. 16 wins, I think, is what you're looking for in the SEC, and Ole Miss is at 13 now after its win over number 9 Texas A&M on Friday night, in which Hunter Elliott joined Lance Lynn and Drew Pomeranz as the only Ole Miss pitchers in history to cross the 300 strikeout plateau. What an incredible accomplishment. And more importantly, when they absolutely had to have it. You're coming off of a series loss, another series loss. You like the Arkansas series, just wasn't what you wanted it to be. Neither was Georgia. You haven't gotten swept, so you're staying on schedule. But if you're looking to get that regional host, the second consecutive, you need 3 more SEC wins, which means essentially taking at least one of the next 2 series, if not both of them, including Texas A&M, which is a doubleheader today, starting at 2 p.m. Central Time. How's the weather out there at Swayze Field?
Well, I mean, as you look behind me, it's absolutely beautiful. Very few clouds in the sky. It's obviously also graduation weekend, so a ton of people are in town. Left field, everybody's kind of gathered around. The folks that aren't here at the Grove Collective tent, they're headed into the stadium again. First pitch at 2 p.m.
Brad's having a little connectivity issues. Hopefully it won't mess up too bad for you folks. I'm sorry. Brad, you there okay? We'll go back to Brad when we can actually hear him. You're seeing this on your screen right now, highlights of an Ole Miss win 5-3 over Texas A&M. Zach Berry, our recruiting expert at the Ole Miss Spirit, omspirit.com, and affiliate of On 3. He joins us now. Hey, Zachary, how you doing? What did you think of Hunter Elliott's big 300 strikeout night? And a big win they absolutely had to have against Texas A&M.
Yeah, Ben, I am violently hungover because I drank 300 beers in honor of Hunter Elliott eclipsing the mark. No, pretty special. It was actually kind of cool. During the game, one of the all-time greats, Mark Holloman, his brother Matt. I grew up with Matt. I grew up with all of them, but I played ball with Matt my whole life, and he was texting me during it when he passed 300. So that was kind of cool. And a little bit of some synergy there because we all know Drew, being from Memphis, playing against him in high school.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think anybody can catch Drew? I mean, I guess if Ole Miss makes a deep run and Elliott is as good as he was last night consistently, maybe. I'm trying to think of the math for like how many more starts he could potentially have.
They would have to make a real run. It's going to be pretty tough, if not impossible. But
yeah, you'd have to go to Omaha.
But the fact that he made this start and had that kind of effort, 11 strikeouts, tying a career high for him when they absolutely needed it the most is the most important thing to me. And the most impressive thing to me is where it came on. And like Dakota King in the chat, 2457, good to see you, Dakota, and all of you in the chat. Still some trickling in, and they'll be doing that over the course of the hour. Brad Logan is at Swayze Field live from the Grove Collective Tailgate. Hoping to have some interviews from there to kind of bring you what's going on. I don't know if football players are there or not, but we'll go back to Brad throughout the hour. Also have Kyle Christensen. He's the CEO of Thropic, and Thropic is putting on an interactive game that you, the Ole Miss fan, can play for free and play against Kewan, Lacy, or join Kewan, Lacy, and Trinidad Chambliss, interact with them in a really cool way, and also win some absolutely baller prizes that we'll get to here shortly with Kyle Christensen, the CEO of Thropic. Brad Logan, like I said, he's live on location at the Grove Tailgate, hoping the connectivity works. Let's see if we can get Brad back in here just to see how things are going. Brad, you still there? How you doing now, Brad?
Yeah, doing well. Jumped on to another Wi-Fi. As Zach can see, and you can see, it's a beautiful day for baseball here. Had a chance to visit with some fans earlier that are headed into left field. We'll visit with them. We'll also visit with William Evans of the Grove Collective and talk more about the event they have going on to our left. By the way, if you're a Grove Collective member, you can enjoy a ton of food, a ton of drinks, and everything to get you ready for first pitch today at 2 p.m. By the way, following up on Zach's comment about Hunter Elliott, it was a fantastic watch last night, and I think watching him just kind of become emotional. I mean, a post-game interview, I thought David and Brad Henderson did a great job kind of navigating through that, and you can tell that not only this baseball team means a lot to him, but this university means a lot to him. And, it was really cool to listen to that, and I think what we're seeing is these teams, specifically Ole Miss, not so much living on the long ball as much as they have. We saw Will Furness get a big double, went with the pitch. We saw Becerra with a big hit last night. We saw Judd Udemark with a base hit that wasn't a home run. So I think they're kind of adapting here late in the year. But kind of question to both of you, what does Ole Miss need to get to? Is it 16? And can they win 3 out of the next 5? I think it's going to be paramount to win as many as you can at home because it's going to be tough at Alabama.
Absolutely, and I think that was the question that Bradley Voles was kind of getting to in the chat. What happens if Ole Miss sweeps Texas A&M? If you sweep Texas A&M, man, I think one more win and you're rock solid regardless of what happens in Hoover. But obviously it's a doubleheader today. 2 9-inning games will be played between Ole Miss and Texas A&M at Swayze Field, which is where Brad Logan is currently located at the Grove Collective Tailgate. Walker Jones is there. They've got a great setup and everything like that. Brad will keep coming back and forth to you throughout the day or throughout the hour. Look forward to talking to you. Before we let you go and get your first guest lined up and all those kind of things, kind of set the stage for today. This is one of the hottest hitting offenses in the SEC is Texas A&M. So I want to further add context to the historic nature of Hunter's start because Dakota King in the chat absolutely hit on it. Hunter Elliott had not been good in his past 2 starts. However, he comes out last night, and as I've said numerous times, it's an old baseball adage. Momentum is the next day's starting pitcher. And Hunter Elliott, when he's at his best, it's hard to beat him, man. And that was the Hunter Elliott that Ole Miss fans were used to seeing over a decorated Ole Miss career. He's still the only national champion left in the room from that 2022 team. So don't forget who he is, what he's been last year, had a sub-3 ERA in his return from Tommy John. Yes, the ERA's inflated this year, and it's been tough. 5.12 ERA, as Dakota was pointing out. Last 2 starts in particular, almost said sharts. Last 2 starts in particular have been tough. But when they needed him, 11 strikeouts, tying a career high against one of the hottest hitting offenses in baseball, Brad. So Kate Townsend and Taylor Rabe, you know what they're facing this weekend with this offense. Kind of set the stage for what can be expected in this doubleheader, in your opinion, watching what happened last night and also considering the stakes of it.
Well, the pitching, oddly enough, has been the most consistent out of everything for Ole Miss, with the exception of Hunter Elliott being kind of up and down a little bit when you talk about kind of the earlier starts and that sort of thing. Giving up a couple runs here or there early in his tenure in each game over the last couple of weeks. But everybody else, Kate Townsend and Taylor Rabe, and then, of course, off the bench with out of the bullpen with Hunter Calhoun, or with Calhoun, and then, of course, finishing up with Walker Hooks. What's been kind of up and down has been the batting, and Ole Miss has been a bit of a roller coaster at the plate, just kind of relying on the long ball. And I can't say enough how big that hit was last night. And that's not necessarily for what it resulted in, but having Tristan Bissetta get that base hit, and you feel like that monkey may be off his back. It looked like he was having some really good swings. He was just, not making contact with the baseball and just really missing a lot of pitches. So you hope that kind of gets the monkey off his back. Ole Miss needs Bissetta to be good during the postseason run, SEC tournament coming up, and then, of course, the regionals. So I'm really more or less watching how the team's approach at the plate is, because you're always going to get good at-bats. By the way, Austin Foley has kind of figured some things out at the plate, and I don't think enough people are talking about that. He's obviously very solid behind the plate, but from a batting standpoint, he's kind of figured some things out. I do kind of wonder how much longer, the Mosley experiment is going to continue, because he has not looked very good at the plate the last couple of at-bats. So we'll see what happens in the doubleheader here today. I'm really more or less just paying attention to this lineup offensively. Can they hit their way to a possible national seed, to a hosting opportunity? I think that's the key for Ole Miss, because the pitching has been there.
Brad Logan is live on location at Swayze Field. He's at the Grove Collective Tailgate. He's going to have guests throughout the hour. We're going to keep coming back to him, going to him, and letting him kind of lead you and take you somewhere that you otherwise wouldn't get to see if not for his efforts. So thank you, Brad. We'll come back to you soon, buddy. That is Brad Logan. That is Brad Logan. We'll go right back to him here shortly at Swayze Field. Coming up shortly will be Kyle Christensen. He's the CEO of Thropic, to tell you about an interactive game that you can play to win some unbelievably dope prizes. I'm going to go ahead and put on the screen for you the QR code for Thropic, and then I want to let you hear from Kyle Christensen and let him tell you all about it as well, because it's fascinating to hear and to potentially be a part of. I know we at Talk of Champions, we're going to sign up and enter ourselves, and if we win, we're going to give it all away. And what does that include? That includes signed jerseys from Trinidad, Chambliss, and Kewan, Lacy, getting to walk the Walk of Champions with the team, 4 tickets to the season opener, amenities such as a hotel stay in the Graduate for that same week. For that same weekend. That you're getting those 4 free tickets. It's pretty dope. And again, you can play it for free. So we're going to get to Kyle Christensen of Thropic in just a minute. But before we do, he touched on something, did Brad, Zach, that I thought was absolutely salient. Tristan Bissetta's been really struggling. And you knew it was going to happen. I mean, he was hotter than a dancing bobcat for most all of the season. And eventually you're going to hit a wall and you're going to have to dig yourself out of it. Getting that big knock was huge. But this offense, and it was said in the chat, and I think it's an absolutely good point as well. Let me go find it again. Andrew Merritt, 5627. It was awesome to watch Ole Miss win a game without having to hit 5 home runs to score. And one of those big hits, one of those big knocks was Will Furness, who has been really hot, hit the double, made the sensational catch at the end of the game. Hunter Elliott, deservedly so, made history, and he's the headliner today. But what was most encouraging for me, like the Bissetta hit, as Brad brought up, was not just that, but Will Furness making the big play, getting the big knock. Yeah, especially with the way the night started, with Owen Pano just sailing a ball past first base. But Pano's been having a great bounce back year, but that one I was like, eesh, that's not what it is. Yeah, absolutely. So it's just like the way that they won that game, I think, was the most encouraging. What do you kind of see that too, or what was your big takeaway from guys like that getting back?
Yeah, I mean, that was like a stereotypical by the book Friday night in the SEC. Low scoring, good pitching, timely hitting. Ole Miss is going to be tough to beat when the top of the order goes 6 for 15. When you can go 6 for 15 with Dom Decker, Judd Udemark, Will Furnace, Tristan Becerra. You're gonna beat a lot of teams. I thought, yeah, I mean, Becerra was unconscious for March and most of April, and then hit a little, skid. And, as my buddy Dan Grider would say, that's baseball, baby.
Baseball. One Mike Bianco, 5, as he's more affectionately known in the clubhouse, that's baseball. I mean, that's the most Mike Bianco quote you could have given, Zach. Come on now.
I mean, it is though. But yeah, I mean, I think if you're getting 11 Ks in 6 innings from Hunter Elliott, you're going to be tough to beat. Hudson Calhoun, 1 inning, 1 strikeout, but then Walker Hooks comes in, slams the door. I think the probably the thing to me that doesn't get talked about enough is not only the bullpen, but they've got like a swagger to them. It's very businesslike. You don't have a lot of fist pumping and do any of that. Like Walker Hooks, gets that big K to get out of the 8th, and then that he just walks off like it, business as usual. Somebody did ask in the chat if Hooks would come back. I don't know. He threw 45 pitches. I probably
that has never stopped Mike Bianco before when he falls in love with one reliever in particular. Zach, come on now.
Yeah, he threw twice last weekend, and he was great. He just had 1 miss, and Arkansas walked it off. But yeah, I mean, Calhoun only threw 15 pitches, so he could definitely come back. I don't know. I don't know if you risk it this late in the year. It just kind of depends on the situation. Is it going to be high level? Big moment, like maybe you go to him. I would guess that Joel Mangrum might at least ask him, hey, you want the ball again? Like, how you feeling? Like, be honest. But yeah, I think I mean, all jokes aside, Ole Miss didn't hit 5 home runs to win it. Pretty encouraging. Pretty station to station, extra base hits, moving runners over. Again, timely hitting. Like, that was big. I mean, Ole Miss needed a hit, runners in scoring position. A lot of times this year, we've had strikeouts. We've seen them, grounding double plays and, all that. No, clutch last night. And A&M, really good team. Probably a national seed lock. I was looking at the RPI, which this is fascinating.
Well, hold that thought. You look at the RPI, you get the breakdown of Texas A&M. Got Kyle Christensen of Thropic coming up to tell you about the game I've been previewing. But Brad's got a guest over there at the Grove Collective Tailgate. Hey, Brad, how you doing, buddy?
Oh, we gotta fix the camera.
I'm working on it.
All right, we're working on it. I've got William Evans here, the Director of Development for the Grove Collective. There we go. William, man, great, beautiful, wonderful opportunity for fans, and specifically for the Grove Collective. Man, it's a beautiful day.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me. Can't ask for much better weather than this.
Tell me a little bit about what we have going on today. Obviously, it's for Grove Collective members, and I'm assuming you can sign up here today if you're not already a Grove Collective member.
Absolutely. We got a little member tailgate out behind left field today. We'll be out here all day, I think, even between game 1 and game 2. So if you're a Grove Collective member, please stop on by. And if you're not a member and interested, come on by, find us, get yourself a drink, get some food, and we'll sign you up.
Tell me a little bit about how you think the direction of Grove Collective is going this year. What are some events you have coming up? I know we have the summer coming up and then obviously football. But I guess before we go there, let's kind of recap a little bit some events you guys did last year. Let's talk about that for a minute. What are some things that jump out to you and some opportunities fans have been able to enjoy some time with some Ole Miss players and coaches?
Yeah, we just had a golf tournament recently. It's our 3rd annual golf tournament. Been a super fun event, able to raise a ton of money. We had Pete Golding out there hitting tee shots, as well as a bunch of other Ole Miss coaches. So great opportunity to meet players, coaches, play some golf, raise money for Ole Miss. Beyond that, we have tailgates like this one. We got tailgates in the Grove every game. We had an event with Jackson Dart and Eli Manning, and we're playing another one here soon with Trinidad and Eli Manning and potentially Jackson Dart, some other former Ole Miss legends. So be on the lookout for that.
No doubt. And, for Ole Miss fans that missed it, I know prior to Meet the Rebels Day, you guys had a sold-out event, and Walker Jones, who's the director, told me you oversold it. So that was a great opportunity for some fans.
We did oversell it, yeah. But, yeah, great opportunity. meeting all of our new players, and we're excited for the next year.
What are some things that Ole Miss fans could be looking forward to in the future in regards to being members of the Grove Collective?
Yeah, we're about to you'll see a new benefit page up on the Grove Collective website here soon. We're going to redo the membership. You'll see a lot more content being pushed out, player podcasts, coach podcasts. So be on the lookout here in the coming weeks for some new content.
The roster this year for football is just incredible, and many people thought Ole Miss might take a step back with the coaching change. They not only didn't take a step back, they took a step forward. The roster this year is incredible. Talk about that roster, if you will, and about how fans have really stood up in this whole new world of NIL.
Yeah, no, I think Pete would, and all of our coaches, not just football, would be the first to tell you that, the reason Ole Miss is a great place, Oxford's a great place. What's not to like? Look around here. But in this day and age of NIL and college athletics, NIL is an important factor in, recruiting student athletes to come here. And I think all of them would tell you that, the Grove Collective is, the cream of the crop, in the nation when it comes to recruiting, premier athletes.
You look at the roster this year, and we're visiting with William Evans, the Director of Development for the Grove Collective. And I'll be honest with you, the way that you guys retain the roster versus actually just going out into the portal was very, very impressive to me. I know that was important to you guys to maintain the roster that you had. It had to be very, very exciting to see all of those graphics roll out and all of the Rebels determining they want to stay with Coach Pete Golding.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, that was a pretty funny story. It was after the Sugar Bowl, but before the Fiesta Bowl. We're in a frenzy trying to re-sign, all these guys. And Kewan and Trinidad decided they wanted to re-sign at, I think, 1:30 a.m. and 3 a.m. So it was a late night, but we were happy to be up and re-sign those guys. But yeah, happy to have such, good turnover. A lot of good guys coming back, and I think we're going to be excited to have another good team this year.
One more question for William Evans, the Director of Development for the Grove Collective. The logo that you see is the Grove Collective logo, available to Grove Collective members. I get asked all the time, where can you get the merchandise? I know that was something that you guys can help them out with at thegrovecollective.com.
Yep, go to our website, thegrovecollective.com, go under shop, and you'll be able to find all kinds of cool merch.
That's awesome. He's William Evans, Director of Development. Brad Logan here. William, thank you, brother.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate you having us today. And Ben, we appreciate as I get in the middle of the thing here, we appreciate Williams joining us here today. And I'll throw it back to you.
Thank you, buddy. That's Brad Logan. Man, William was absolutely great, and no one can tell you better about the Grove Collective than William and Walker Jones. And that was great stuff, especially to hear what they said about the roster for 2026 specifically. This is Talk of Champions. I'm Ben Garrett at Spirit Ben on Twitter. He's Zach Berry at Zach_Berry. Brad Logan is live at the Grove Collective Tailgate at Swayze Field. He's at Brad Logan COTE on Twitter, so check him out. That QR code right above Zach's head is for the Ole Miss Spirit. We're both there. All three of us are there all day, every day, talking Ole Miss. So if this is your only taste of Ben, Zach, and Brad every single day, man, we would encourage you to try us out at the Ole Miss Spirit. For $1, you can try us out for 5 days and just see if you like it. It's a community that we're very proud of. We just want to be the home for all Ole Miss fans to feel comfortable and talk about the Rebels and talk about all things, not only Ole Miss sports, but national sports in this community that we all hold very, very dear. We'll get back to Brad here shortly. Got Kyle Christensen, CEO of Thropic, coming up after this commercial break. Before we jump to it and hear from all of these sponsors, including Riverland Roofing, sound like a Southern man, Roofing, B&A Bank, USA Benefits Group with Drew Moak, Alan Samuel, C-Spire. You're touching on the quality of opponent that Ole Miss is playing with Texas A&M this weekend, and what winning the series, if sweeping it, Zach, could potentially mean.
Yeah, I mean, I think it would be massive for the hosting discussion. It would be massive for your RPI, obviously, as Texas A&M is at 12 right now per Warren Nolan. Ole Miss is right there at 13. But yeah, I mean, A&M 36-11 overall and 15-9 in the SEC. I mean, that is it's impressive to do in the SEC. I think the magic number people want to ask about, where do you need to get to? I mean, I think a lot of people said 15. I think 16 would make you feel pretty comfortable. I was going to say, though, this is pretty fascinating as I was looking at this, Ben. Ole Miss, obviously, all the quad one, pretty much all the quad one games are SEC. 12-14, 2-3 in quad 2, 7-0 in quad 3, 12-0 in quad 4. Pretty wild trivia here for this season. The two best teams in the country per RPI, UCLA and Georgia Tech, both have quad 4 losses. Yeah, UCLA is 8-1 and Georgia Tech is 12-1 in quad 4. Yeah, I think if you're Ole Miss, you'd like to get to 16-14. I think that's kind of where I think that would cement Ole Miss as a host. Not necessarily a national seed, obviously not a top 8, but you're going to be in that top 16. You know, between 9 and 16, I think you're have a legitimate shot to be pretty safe there. It kind of depends on, I think, how willing the committee is to consider Kansas as a legitimate host. I mean, I think they would probably do it just to grow the game, if you will. But Kansas is 20-5 in the Big 12, 37-13 overall. They've just been kind of running through that conference. And then Nebraska is right there outside looking in. You know, those are two teams right there that I think you could potentially see the committee get a little cute, where it's like Nebraska hasn't been relevant at all in baseball in a long time. They're having a good year in the Big Ten. Wake is starting to really turn things around. They're really struggling early. They're now 33-17 overall. They got 14 wins in the ACC. It's another league that's just absolutely loaded. Yeah, I think, I mean, if you sweep A&M, I think you're a lock.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, as long as you don't get swept against Alabama, I think you're hosting. Because that puts you at 15-12 going into the final week. And then everything in Hoover is just, you know, whatever. It's just, you know, extracurriculars. But no, I mean, I think the committee obviously knows very well just how important it is to have baseball, postseason baseball in Oxford. ESPN certainly loves it for television. Swayze Field's going to look good on TV. And I think the consistency of Mike Bianco, you know, make all the jokes you want, is pretty remarkable over what, 26 years. I know he doesn't have all the, you know, the Omahas and, you know, whatever, but he's got a national title. That's gonna that flag out there, the decal on the wall, that's gonna be up there forever. So, but yeah, his consistency to not only bring postseason ball to Ole Miss, but to kind of cultivate a community, a place, and a setting like Swayze Field that is marketable and is appealing to people that, you know, don't watch Ole Miss all the time, aren't Ole Miss fans. I mean, you see those stories all the time. You see that stuff on Twitter all the time, Ben, during postseason play, when people see their first beer shower and people like lose their mind. And they're like, wait, where is this? Like, I want to go here. I've had conversations like that with people everywhere. People, you know, like, oh, you know, what do you do for work? Oh, you cover Ole Miss. Like, oh, you must like going to baseball games there. Like, people know. I don't know if it's up there cachet wise with the Grove, but it's the last, you know, 20 or so years. It's been a remarkable run, and it's been very cool to see everything kind of build for Bianco. I mean, the close calls, obviously, in 05, 06, 09, you know, the what do they call it? Black Monday or Black Tuesday, whatever, with Tennessee Tech. But yeah, I mean, I think the resolve of this team has been impressive to watch, Ben, this year. That a lot of fight out of these dudes. I know we're hitting all the cliches here, but I mean, there were some rough skids. I mean, they had some no shows, you know, in Pearl. You lose a tight one to Southern Miss on the road, which would, you know, it's not going to hurt you RPI wise, but you'd like to have that win. You get swept by Mississippi State. I mean, that's just a gut punch. But this team is pieced it together. You had some slow starts from guys like Dom Decker. You mentioned earlier Austin Foley figured some things out, starting to hit the ball well. Colin Reuter's coming around. You know, Owen Pano is now an everyday guy. You know, people have been kind of waiting on him to kind of take hold of that shortstop spot. And then like we said in the preseason, I mean, this pitching staff is elite when it's on. I mean, Cade Townsend has made himself a lot of money this year, Ben. He's gonna be doing just fine in a couple months. So I'm excited to see what he looks like today. And dude, the weather there where Brad's at, it looks just as the old adage goes, Ben, it's a bad day to be a cold beer. Nothing better than a doubleheader at Swayze. So it's going to be two big games. Obviously, I'm excited to see what Townsend looks like against A&M today.
Yep. And Brad, you mentioned Austin Foley. First of all, Brad's the one that made that comment, and he's absolutely right. Like, he's come on. But you also mentioned the weather, and you couldn't be speaking of better weather. And now Brad Logan's got another guest out there at the Grove Collective Tailgate. Hey, Brad.
Thanks, gentlemen. I think Zach may know this young man to my left, Nicholas Carr.
I know Nicholas Carr too. Hey, buddy, what's going on, man?
Nick. Okay.
Yeah, as soon as I heard Zach, I had to hop on here.
I love it.
Hey, man, tell me about the tailgate. I mean, you guys got it working over here.
Yeah, so we've got a tailgate. I was telling Brad, we typically do it, especially on a day like today with doubleheader. Got a couple games out here. It's gonna be a little bit warm, so we throw out here. We got a grill out here. We'll grill up some burgers. They let you take them in and out of the stadium, which is nice. So we'll have that, kind of pass them around, maybe give them to a few of the workers in there. And we've been doing it for about 3 or 4 years, I think. Mostly SEC games, just, throwing it up.
I know during football season, you, Zach, our good friend Ben Woodhouse, and who's the other?
Austin Gray.
Austin Gray. They do a great job with the gambling podcast. So we encourage you to check that out. Obviously, it's on the podcast feed at the Ole Miss Spirit. That's omspirit.com. Right above Nicholas's head, you can hit that QR code. You can join today for $1. We're here at the Grove Collective Tent to my left. Swayze Field's behind me. The good Lord has blessed us with some incredible weather, and we're here at Nicholas and his friends' tailgate. Last night, a big win, obviously. I think, and I told the guys a moment ago, the base hit by Tristan Becerra, did he come out of his shell, do you think?
I sure hope so, because it's a different ball team with Becerra hitting the ball. I mean, the fact that we've won as many games in the last month or so with Becerra struggling is a testament, I guess, to everyone else in the pitching staff, obviously, because Becerra's really struggled. And if he comes on, it's a team that can win some games, can beat Alabama next weekend, and win a few in Hoover, and then win a regional. Becerra's there.
A special night last night. Hunter Elliott, just blood, sweat, tears, everything you could inject here into the program. The last holdover from that national championship. I think, oddly enough, Nicholas, when people were in the crowd, I don't know if they were more emotional that he pitched a great game, he was leaving, or it's kind of the last of the national championship. But what a career for Hunter Elliott.
Yeah, it's weird still having him here, I guess, right? He's been here so long. It's funny, he still has that extra year, I guess, if he wants to swing back by. But yeah, I mean, having him still off that national championship team, and to see kind of won the national title, kind of came out of the wilderness the last couple of years to host a regional last year and be back here. Yeah, it's been special watching the last few years.
So what's it mean to you, kind of wrap it up here with Nicholas Carr, who friend of the program, to tailgate and to be an Ole Miss Rebel? It's a lot of fun right now, isn't it?
Oh, it's great. I mean, last year we had one of the best seasons, football obviously, of my lifetime, but we also had one of the best seasons with basketball, with baseball hosting a regional. It's been a good time. Golf winning the SEC title. We just saw the coach, so that's been pretty cool.
We want to bring Zach in here real quick. Zach, we've got Nicholas here. I'd love to get your thoughts from your friend Nicholas.
Top notch, A1 guy. Nobody better to run a tailgate at Swayze. Dude, when we get off camera, you can just sit there and pick his brain, and he's going to tell you like 94 fun facts about literally anything. It doesn't have to be Ole Miss. It could just be about, I don't know, geography, or he could talk about finance. He's got it all. He's a total package. But I'm glad I appreciate you mentioning the Legal Gambling Council. We'll be back this fall. We always have a ton of fun with that. We had a little bit of a down year for us last year. It's
bounce back season at 26.
Yes. Well, that's what I was about to say.
we had to level out.
I'll take as many losses as I need to if Ole Miss wants to make it to the semifinal again. I mean, that's,
no doubt.
We can go 0-100 if Ole Miss makes a semi. That's fine with me.
I mean, 2 years ago we were like 70 games over 500. So I mean, it was bound to happen. But we always have
the lines.
we have a lot of fun, and it's always a good time to hang out with Nick and Ben and Austin. So check us out. Like Brad said, it's on the podcast feed. It'll be back in your ears this fall. So we're excited. But
Won't be long. 100 days.
We've got to get that. We've got to get that tied in with our video platform. Being that's something we have to work on, because I really enjoy listening to that every single week during football season, because I'm not a big gambler, but it helps me kind of prepare for each week by getting the trends and everything. So even if you're not a gambler, it's a great podcast to listen to, because it kind of prepares you for the week to come and down the road, kind of what Ole Miss faces in the second week, third week, fourth week. So, Nicholas, thanks for joining us today. Gentlemen, kick it back to you. Beautiful day here at Swayze. We've got Coach Chris Malloy, the SEC Coach of the Year in the SEC, coming up here in just a moment, as we appreciate Nicholas and everybody jumping on with us today. Beautiful day in Oxford.
It's Brad Logan, and he and Nicholas Carr were live just for that little spot from the Grove Collective Tailgate. Man, he looks like Brad's living his best life. He's got it better than all of us right now.
I'm telling you, man, it's 12:37 local.
12:30. Mm-hmm.
You're at Swayze Field. You're going to hang out for, I don't know, 6 hours, 7. I mean, come on.
Who's got it better than us? That's the way to put it. Who's got it?
Can't beat it with a stick, man. I mean, that's as good a day as you can get.
Well, I want to touch on some things. We got to get to Kyle Christensen of Thropic. I know you got a lot of thoughts rattling around in that brain. From the comments, I want to knock out a couple of chat comments. At Dirty Ader ask, "Hey Ben, how you doing?" Thank you for asking, man. My grandmother, who was rushed to the emergency room, 93 years young. That's the reason for my sporadic presence, both at the Ole Miss Spirit. That QR code above Zach's head is for the Ole Miss Spirit, OleMissSpirit.com, affiliate on 3, and also here on Soccer Champions. She was dying, and she's still not out of the woods or anything like that. Actually, far from it. She's at Sanctuary Hospice, but there at Sanctuary Hospice, I went and saw her last night, and she's comfortable, and she's happy, and she's content, and she shares a wall with my dad, who's the CFO of Sanctuary Hospice, and what they're doing there, having seen it for myself for the first time last night, it's hand and feet of Jesus stuff. So my grandmother is happy, and to see how much better she looked like last night, what a blessing from God it was. Again, she's not out of the woods. If anything, we know what hospice most of the times means. It could mean she's there for a day, a week, a month, a year, multiple years, but more than anything, she's not in pain, and I'm so thankful to that. So thank you for asking about her, man, and thank you for all of you in the chat at the Ole Miss Spirit, OleMissSpirit.com, foot of on 3, on the message board, who have sent prayers our way. I love my grandmother, my big memo, the last one I got, the last grandparent I got, 40 years young.
93.
Yeah, and she's well, it was fun because last night we go sit down with her, me and Emily, and she was just sitting in a recliner watching the Brady Bunch, and it was the episode where there was a mouse in the Brady mom's shoe, and it was nice to see her that way, because on Tuesday it was tough. All right, from Dakota King 2457. Hey Zach, what's the percentage chance that Ole Miss lands David Gabriel George?
Oh man, all right. First off, Dakota, come on, man. It's ZACH, come on.
Yeah, it is.
Don't do me like that.
We got to get to Kyle. We got to get back to Brad. I got to give some shout out and love to our sponsors. Give me the real quick, in your opinion, just tell me the percentage. Just put it out there. 35%. I said about the same thing. Here's why I brought it up. From about 38 to 54% is what I saw, because I did the math. Or I just went to ChatGPT and asked and put the prompts in. That's about the same percentage chance as a college kicker hitting a 50 to 54-yard field goal. So that's about right.
Unless you're Lucas Carnero.
Yeah, Lucas would absolutely kill that.
That's a chip shot. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be tough. Ohio State sent the whole offensive staff to Chattanooga this week to see him. Georgia was there. I think it's Ohio State and Tennessee battling it out right now. Ole Miss is right there with them. I mean, you can't understate how big Keegan Croucher being there is. I mean, that's going to help. And then, Shy Mills Knight's one of his best friends, one of his, guys he looks up to, guys that he reaches out to a lot to ask about the process and just playing ball and just a friend. And there's a big Ole Miss influence at that school. A lot of alum, a lot of kids go to Ole Miss from Baylor. So he's around it. He hears about Ole Miss a lot. And yeah, I mean, it's tough. I mean, I agree with a lot of people on the message board that, this is kind of one of those dudes that might want to overpay a little bit for. He's special. He's a special dude. Whoever gets him is going to get an absolute dog. So, but yeah, Ole Miss is absolutely in it. It's not like it's not over. It's got to go to signing day, but it's going to be tough.
He's Zach Berry, and now joining Brad Logan at the Grove Collective Tailgate is one Chris Malloy. He's a national champ. Hey, wait a second. You don't just walk around with the trophy, Chris? What the hell?
Real quick. You see behind me the trophy right there behind me. 2026 champion. It's almost knocked the computer over.
Okay.
But hold on. Let me do this real quick.
I wanted to see if Chris was walking around with the trophy. I'm just glad to see that he's got it. But Brad's got Chris Malloy, Ole Miss golf coach, there at the Grove Collective Tailgate just outside of Swayze Field. Take it away, Brad.
I got you. Coach, we were kind of talking off air just a little bit. It's been a wild ride. And you're looking – let me grab this and throw this on you right there.
Well, we've lost you, Brad. We can't hear you anymore. So I'll let them figure that out, and we'll bring Zach back in just a second. First, let's hear from some of our sponsors, man, because they've done everything to power us, man. We'll get back to Brad at the Grove Collective Tailgate as he figures out his technical issues. This is Talk of Champions.
Homes and businesses from the whims of nature, you need more than just quality materials. You require Riverland Roofing. Licensed, insured, and certified, Riverland Roofing offers not only the assurance of excellence, but a tailored approach to your unique structural needs and budget. To learn more about what Riverland Roofing can do for you and the community, call them at 662-644-4297 or visit riverlandroofing.com.
Hey, Rebels, your truck is here. Allen Samuels Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Oxford presents the all-new Ram Rebel. It's Ram, the Rebel way. Send an unmistakable signal. Rebel 24/7. Ram Rebel from your friend in the car business. Allen Samuels Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Oxford.
Come by, let's be friends.
I'm Warrior Philip Hearn. Raising my family here in Mississippi, I've tried to teach my kids to help others. I learned that from my parents. And as a Mississippi lawyer, I want to help you too. If you're hurt in a traffic accident, 18-wheeler wreck, or have insurance trouble, call 601-720-3541. That's my cell. You call, I'll answer. Let's get started. Make your first call to the Hearn Law Firm today.
Start my weekend.
Own your day on the Network for Connected Living. There's more to see. C-Spire. Customer inspired.
Welcome back. Brad Logan here with Coach Chris Malloy. And by the way, Ben, behind me right there is the 26 University of Mississippi SEC champion. I'm here with Chris Malloy, who happens to be the SEC Coach of the Year. Chris, I look across the way, and the sign over there says, "Don't let the Rebs get hot." You guys got hot in Georgia, and I wanted to ask you about the conversation you had on Sunday with you and the team when you kind of take it from there.
Yeah, I mean, and there weren't tons of conversations that needed to be had. You know, by the time you get to that point, they know what's ahead of them, and they know what that day can look like. You know, more than anything else, you know, it was you know, be aggressive, right? And they don't have anything. Let's just play loose. You know, play aggressive. Go out, throw the first punch, and let's see where the chips, you know, fall at the end. And they just had an air of confidence with them all week long, but especially that day. And they came out, got off to a good start, and the rest is history.
Is there any way to quantify just how proud you were of them at the end of the day? What kind of is going through your head?
Yeah, no, there's no way. And I tried to tell them, like, guys, I wish there was something I could tell you, that would explain what I'm feeling inside about what they did, what they were able to accomplish. But no, just so proud of them. It's been talked about a lot, what a tough semester it was, and a couple of haymakers that were thrown at them early, and just the way they responded. And when it all meant the most, that's when they were at their best. And as a coach, you can't ask any more than that.
I know you dealt with a lot of adversity. Obviously, Michael Assasso making the decision to turn pro. Coming into the season, obviously, I mean, you even mentioned that it was a very pleasant surprise. The team played as well as they did late in the season. But when you look at just the team as a whole, who stood out to you? Maybe not as a on the course leader, but off the course leader for you this year that got that championship.
Yeah, I know it's not the answer you want to hear. All three seniors really did, but they all did as a group. Colin Strolio was kind of thrust into a role that maybe wasn't expected of him at that time, this semester, and he didn't really flinch. It doesn't mean it didn't happen without some adversity and some rough times, but he responded. Tom Fisher, Kewan Trolio, Cam Tankerslayer, seniors really just led the way. And then, Daniel Tolf, our freshman from Sweden, came out of the gates, our first tournament, out, the Water Sound Invitational, and won individually. So it really was a group effort.
It was really cool, too, watching Peter Burns. Obviously, was on the course. Peter Burns interviewed you. I actually exchanged messages with Peter at the end. He wanted to point out, please tell Coach how proud I am. And that was just one of many messages that I've received about you being not only a good coach. I told you this, so I'm not telling you anything you don't know about just being a good person. I like seeing good people succeed. You win the SEC Coach of the Year. I know you're going to say it's about the players, but I have to take you back to when you were a player to be able to be the head coach at Ole Miss and to get that honor. It's got to be really cool.
Yeah, and I'm not so sure. You don't dream of the selfish accolades. I mean, you really don't. So I don't think I ever had that in a goal or any of that. Everything that you think of as a coach is team goals. Winning an SEC championship, that was one of them. Winning a national championship, things like that are part of it. But after it's done, right, and yes, it's a direct reflection of our players. Without them, no one would be talking about Chris Malloy. But selfishly to sit back at your alma mater and to have that honor, to have that trophy sitting here, it's unbelievable.
Excited about the draw? Regionals coming up?
Yeah, absolutely. This time of year, I think people tend to think a little bit too much into it, of whether you got a good draw, a bad draw. You just have to play good golf at this point and survive in advance and get out to California and give yourself a chance. Once you get out to California, play good enough over 54 holes and 72 holes that you get in that final 8. So yeah, we don't have to pretend to be anybody that we're not. We're a good enough team to get through and to be standing there, holding an even bigger trophy in California.
Here with Coach Chris Malloy, the SEC Men's Golf Coach of the Year, and also SEC Tournament Champions. Before we get out of here, we saw you and Pete Golding kind of at one of your events. Pete teed off. Also, Pete was very adamant that he watched that round on Sunday. I know it's really cool to have that relationship. He's talked about how close you two are.
Yeah, absolutely. And to have support from all those guys, and coaches that are here, coaches that have been here, whatever. I mean, they a lot of them tuned in, and like I said, former coaches, current coaches, all the above. It was really, really cool, and Pete's a special person, great coach, but really good dude. Supports our program.
Looks like you're having fun. Is that a pretty safe assumption?
That'd be an understatement. We're having a lot of fun, and we're going to continue to have a lot of fun.
He's Chris Malloy, the SEC Coach of the Year, and also the leader of the SEC tournament, not SEC champions in men's golf. Ben, I'll send it back to you.
Thank y'all, Chris. You're the man. Brad, you're even more the man. Keep doing your thing. There's nobody better in this town than the Chris Malloy, man. What an absolute delight. Thank y'all for that interview, Brad, for talking to Chris, and for Chris for joining us. Now we're going to be joined by Kyle Christensen. He's the CEO of Thropic, and there's a game that they're putting on that you, the Ole Miss fan, can get involved in. Let's hear from him now. Friends, welcome inside, at least just for me, Ben Garrett of the Ole Miss Spirit. OleMissSpirit.com, affiliate on 3. That QR code above Kyle Christensen's head is for the Ole Miss Spirit. OleMissSpirit.com. The other way, you're close, Kyle. The Ole Miss Spirit, OleMissSpirit.com, affiliate on 3. If you haven't already, scan that QR code. Try us out today. New members can try us out. $1 for 5 days. It's as good as a deal as you're going to get. It's a great preview. Kyle is the CEO of Thropic, joining us today on Talk of Champions. Brad Logan, of course, you know him. He can be found at the Ole Miss Spirit as well. Also, all the socials at Spirit Ben, at Brad Logan, COTE. And I'm staring at Kyle's LinkedIn profile, but like, do you have the socials too, Kyle? Or do I just got to show him your professional LinkedIn? Look at that beautiful profile pic. Perfect, Kyle. How many times did you pose for it with your perfect, pristine, princely looks?
I can't count that high, but a lot.
He said, but a lot. He is one Kyle Christensen from Thropic. How you doing today, man? What's going on?
Doing good, man. It's a Friday. We're moving and grooving with Ole Miss, and excited to be on the show, fellas.
Well, tell us about Thropic just to get people kind of to understand what it is you do, the company that we're talking about here, and also that the opportunity for Ole Miss fans that you're bringing to them to kind of come face to face in a competitive space with its 2-star players in Trinidad, Chambliss, and Kewan, Lacy.
Yeah, so Thropic is a gamified fundraising platform at its core. We're trying to build out really fun, competitive, but ultimately games for good. You know, we want people to come in, play for some great prizes, and then contribute to causes they care about. We've worked with nonprofits in the past. We've worked with youth sports leagues, and then we've worked with universities, Ole Miss being the latest and greatest and biggest and baddest that we've worked with. And, you know, obviously when you work with great athletes like Trinidad and Kewan, you tend to get a lot of different attention, especially 2 Heisman contenders coming up. But, you know, at the end of the day, the biggest thing I would say is, like, we want people to come in, play, have fun, get a chance to win a great prize. By the way, guys, like, this prize is insane. It's truly money can't buy. I don't want to put words in anybody's mouth, but like, even if you're a big time donor, it'd be hard to get 4 tickets to the season opener, sideline passes, walk of champions, lodging, signed Trinidad jerseys, signed Kewan jerseys, signed Golden Ball. Like, guys, come on. This is insane as a prize. And all you have to do is come in and play the game. Then once you're done playing the game, you go in and contribute some dollars to the Ole Miss athletic department. Every dollar you contribute to this game goes directly into getting the next star quarterback, the next star running back, but it's also a point towards your score. So let's say you get 8 out of 10 right on the game, so that's 80 points. But you come in and get $500 for the program. Now your score is 580 points. You're on top of the leaderboard, right? So that's how we're doing it. Having a ton of fun with it, having a ton of fun with the guys and the athletes. And, you know, we hope that this is a staple for Ole Miss and their athletic department for, years and season and sports to come.
Kyle Christensen, the CEO of Thropic. And Kyle, the dad of a teenager, I'm very well versed with gaming online, AI-based gaming and that sort of thing. But for maybe the older generation that's not as familiar with online gaming, in this particular instance, can you kind of dumb it down for the folks, and me kind of included in that? How can they be a part of this, and how can they not only have a great time playing games online, but how can they also give online, and kind of what are the steps to beginning that process?
Yeah, we try and keep it as simple as possible. So, by the way, the game is free to play. If you don't have the money, you don't want to spend the money, that's totally up to you. But if you want to support Ole Miss, please do. But at the end of the day, you don't have to download an app. You don't have to sign up and, give away all your information. All you have to do is visit the link that we'll provide for you guys. Come in, enter your name or enter your email, agree to terms and services, and start the challenge. And the challenge is really kind of really fun, quirky questions. We had Trinidad and Kewan do a staring contest. So you have to pick which one wins out of that. It is Mississippi, so we had them do an egg toss. You got to say who drops the egg first. We did a couple trivia questions, so you guys got to know your Ole Miss football. Then we just had some fan vote stuff. So this is kind of fun, where you get to pick, like, who's more stylish. I don't know if you follow Kewan on Instagram, but dude's pretty stylish, right? So, it's fun stuff like that. We're not trying to, first of all, we cannot do any player-based or team-based performance on the field, according to NCAA bylaw 10.3, but we just want to stay away from that kind of stuff. We want to make it super fun. We want to make it, Brad, where, like, you and your kids and your family and friend can all get in there and have some fun and, talk a little smack to each other, but ultimately, come together and make an entry into this game and support Ole Miss.
All right, so you talked about the games and some of the stuff y'all asked of them so far. I think this is a good representation of what you're talking about. Here's Trinidad Chambliss. Was this you doing the interview, Kyle?
This was me. So Trinidad, obviously came in 2021 to college football. So we took the top 10 songs from 2021. He only got to listen to about 5 seconds of the song. Then he had to guess what song it was. Then you, as part of the game, have to guess how many he got right. So that's what we're looking at right here.
Here's Trinidad Chambliss, Heisman candidate for Ole Miss in Ole Miss football in 2026. The breakout star in college football last season, coming from Division II Ferris State, taking over for the wonder kid that was Austin Simmons. And listen to what he's answering.
I know the song. I just don't know the name.
You know,
it's by Drake, though.
Drake. Featuring Lil Baby.
Oh, he did know it.
I can't.
Wants and needs.
Man, I knew that.
It's unfair.
All right, I know this one. Back in Blood by Pooh Shiesty. Yeah.
Dude, he nailed that.
Yeah.
That was like.
Is that Bad Bunny? I don't know the name, but it's Bad Bunny, right?
Did you get partial credit?
All right, cool.
We gave him a half a point for that one,
All right, I got you. This is Driver's License by Olivia Rodrigo.
Nice.
You knew that one a little too quick.
That's what I was about to say. He knew Olivia Rodrigo immediately. And as a girl dad, 13-year-old, 9-year-old, when I heard the first opening little piano, whatever, I knew too. I was like, absolutely. So good on Trinidad, Olivia Rodrigo, gang stand up. We're talking to CEO of Thropic, Kyle Christensen. That QR code now above his head is for this game that you can join as an Ole Miss fan to participate in, to give to Ole Miss athletics, to get the next Ole Miss quarterback, the next Kewan, Lacy, Trinidad, Chambliss. Hell, Patrick Willis, if you want to go get a linebacker, maybe that's Luke Farrelly, Keaton Thomas. So that QR code now above Kyle's head is for this game to participate, to not only have some fun and win a remarkable prize, which again, you're going to recover that, because I have a question now. Can we enter? Because I like to enter for this website that you will now see on your screen. Is for a game being played right now that you can join in on, but also outside of winning and getting to be a part of it with Kewan and Trinidad, you get to give to athletics as well. I mean, it seems like a win-win here, but like this is a dope prize.
Ben, you can answer. You can enter. So definitely do that. There you go. And then the winner is going to get 4 tickets to the season opener. You're going to get a walk of champions for 4. You're going to get sideline passes for the season opener. You're going to get lodging for the season opener. And then you're going to get a signed Trinidad jersey, signed Kewan jersey, and a signed coach ball. So, I mean, again, this is
Just
if you're an Ole Miss fan,
that's what you're telling me.
You do not want to miss this if you're an Ole Miss fan.
We'll give ours away. I do want to document all of it. If we win and give it to a Talk of Champions listener, someone at the Ole Miss Spirit, OleMissSpirit.com, and Affiliate on 3, you get to do all that stuff, the signed Trinidad jersey, the Kewan jersey. Well, maybe we auction that off. But no, I'm playing. You get to do that. 4 tickets, all that is yours. I just want to document all of it, including the unboxing if we win, because I can tell you this. Brad, you'll be able to relate to this. Little Ben would have freaked the flip out if you'd have gotten, if like I could have gotten these things and played it for free, played video games, and win all the things that I want to do anyway.
When they can go in and play the games, which I can only imagine how much fun Ole Miss fans are going to have. In order to the giving part of this, from my understanding, it's not just money, if you will, the traditional cash. There could be cryptocurrency, blockchain, any other ways that fans can give. Am I missing something on that? Is there other ways you can give?
So in this instance, no. Oh, did I freeze? There I am. In this instance, no. We've partnered with other people in the past to do similar stuff, but with Ole Miss, we want to keep it pretty cut and dry. So like I mentioned before, it's free to play. You can come in and play and rack up your points, and we'll give away some free stuff for the people who have the highest game score. So you're talking Ole Miss swag. And by the way, we have some gear that we'll give away just randomly to people who are playing in the game. But as you go through the game, we just process. You can use Apple Pay, Google Pay, credit card, whatever that might be. And then for every dollar you contribute to Ole Miss Athletics, it's a point towards your score. And then, by the way, once you do that, you're going to get a confirmation email with the leaderboard that you can see where you're at amongst all of that. When you share it with your friends and family, share it with your girlfriend, share it with your wife, share it with your grandma, every dollar that they contribute to your entry is a point towards your score as well. So not only you come in, you throw a couple bucks towards the program itself, but then you rally the troops, get them to come in and contribute. And that's how you really start to rack up the points to ultimately win the prize. And then the last thing I'll just call out is up to $150 that you contribute in this game, you get a free Avo gift card. So Avo is an athleisure company that's an official athleisure apparel company for Ole Miss. You get a free $150 gift card if you contribute $150 to Ole Miss Athletics.
I think it's cool that you tied in giving. It's like I went to a daddy-daughter dance recently, fellas. Those things are hard. You know what I mean? They're really hard. All she wanted to do, she didn't want a daddy-daughter dance, Brad. She didn't. You know what she wanted to do? She wanted to buy as many chances of those tickets to throw into the bowl, hoping that a few of hers would get pulled. So $40 later, no gifts, no tickets pulled. This is like buying as many chances as you want, but also there are ways to do it without having to break the bank in tough times. That's nuts. I'm good for this. This is fun.
You nailed something. And listen, at the end of the day, that's what we want to do. We want to make it so that, contributing in this whole NIL world where, the programs have to bring in dollars to get some of the best players, that anybody can participate and have equity and ultimately contribute to Ole Miss's success down the line on the field. And so that's what we want to do. Whether you got $10, $100, or no dollars, and you want to play and share out your link, like you can help and support that. And so that's really, shout out to Ole Miss, for being innovative and thinking through this. Our partners at the Link U, who ultimately set up the connection between us, and Trinidad and Kewan for being open to trying this. And the fans are already coming in. I think you saw on there's close to 500 people already playing. There's about 2 weeks left from today. So I don't know when this airs, but let's call it. There's still time, but not a ton of time to get out there and ultimately play in this game. But, it's just fun. We want everybody to be able to contribute and ultimately be a part of the Ole Miss fan base.
We know a lot of people, Kyle, are going to be wondering, where is the link? How can I play? Ben, in my social channels, along with the Ole Miss Spirit, along with OleMissSpirit.com, we're going to have the link for you so you can go there. You can play all
QR code on the screen, Brad.
They're even better. The QR code is on the screen for folks watching right now on YouTube. Kyle, I want to kind of go back to what we were talking about a little bit off air. It's not just the tickets and the walk through the Grove. There's some apparel opportunities along with autographs from Pete Golding, Trinidad Chambliss, Kewan, Lacy. I'd love for you to kind of talk about some of that the gamers can enjoy as well, possibly enjoy.
Yeah. So again, the prize is pretty epic, right? We've talked a lot about that, and you can find that on the link as well. But ultimately, we're going to find some random fans who have played, as you can see, 450 people in there already. You're going to get some surprises as far as hoodies, pants, all of this good stuff. I wish I wore my Ole Miss hoodie that is from Avo this morning to the gym, so I don't have it on me right now, but it's pretty comfy, so much so that my wife likes to wear this stuff, and she's not a sports head. So it's good when she's wearing that. And then if up to $150, I believe it is, every dollar that you spend that goes to Ole Miss Athletics, Avo's going to turn around and give you a gift card up to that amount. So it's basically free apparel if you contribute and get in there on top of it that you can rock when you go to the home opener.
Hey, Kyle, before we get too far down the road, I'd love to talk a little bit about when Thropic was founded, I think 2018. Kind of what was the brainchild with this? And is it kind of going like you thought? And kind of are you where you think you want to be at this point in 2026?
Yeah, so I'll give you a 2-second background on myself. I was actually a marketer by trade. Spent a lot of time at Netflix and Facebook before I became chief marketing officer for a sports betting company. We ended up selling that business to Fanatics, and my whole thesis was, hey, I want to still do something in gaming, but I want to do something what we call gaming for good. And so we actually were founded in 2024 with the idea that we were going to build games to help people fundraise across any sort of avenue you wanted. And we started working with a lot of nonprofits. So we worked with St. Jude. We worked with Boys and Girls Club. We worked with American Heart Association, you name it, across the board, and did that for a long time and still doing that right now. But I had a friend of mine who runs NIL over at Colorado, and he reached out and said, hey, could we do this for fundraising for athletics and the different teams and sports? And I said, I don't know, let me go check. And so we talked to the lawyers. We made sure we were compliant across all the state rules and regulations, talked to our friends at the NCAA, and they basically said, as long as you're compliant with all these different laws and things within their confines as well, that, yeah, you can go out and do it. And that's exactly what we've been doing. So like I said, Ole Miss has been amazing to work with. We've also worked with the folks at Texas Aggies United for the Texas A&M side of the house, University of Colorado, Syracuse, and a bunch of other schools that we're working with across the board to really engage the fan base. But I got to say, man, it was my first time in Oxford a couple of weeks back, and needless to say, I'm coming back to the Grove for one of these games. But man, the SEC schedule is just absolutely brutal. I don't know how anybody gets through that unscathed, but it's good to have Trinidad and Kewan on your roster for that.
That's absolutely nuts. And it's also nuts that was your first time in Oxford. I love how immediately you're like pretty much everybody else, unless you're in Baton Rouge or Starkville. When you come to don't visit Oxford if you don't want to stay.
Oh, 100%. And by the way, Double Decker was going on that weekend too. So I'm like, what is going on here? Is this place as amazing every single day of the year? And so I've heard it is, and so I'll be back.
Well, see, what I love about this concept is it's very, very much a good representation of where just this whole sport is going operationally. It doesn't matter if it's in the Manning Center or on your phone playing on an app or playing a game, like being able to raise money in interesting and creative ways. This is something that seems so obvious when you see it on paper.
I don't know about you guys, but we all get the links, from our alma mater or, the church or the school. And it's like, please support, click on a link and donate. And listen, there's nothing wrong with that. But man, if you sent me a game every week around the NFL season or college football or March Madness or, the Oscars or whatever it is, right? And it was like, hey, play a game for a chance to win the cool prize. But majority of your money is going to a cause you care about. Like, sign me up, say less, like just keep feeding me the games. So that's our whole thesis behind this.
Well, it's a brilliant idea. He's Kyle Christensen, CEO of Thropic. Absolutely fun stuff. I encourage all of you Talking Champions listeners to sign up, and you can see it on your screen right where it says, you just go to the email, or not the email, the website through the QR code on your screen, or just by going to play.thropicgames.com.
You'll also go to Ben's socials and my socials, because I just click the QR code. And so I'm going to be able to pump it out on my social channels. Ben will do the same, and that'll give you a direct link. It's going to be a lot of fun.
But as I'm talking about this, scan that QR code and you can go right to the website. It's as easy as entering your email. You can play and be a part of it. And maybe you're the one that wins 4 tickets to the season opener, lodging at the Graduate Hotel. You could really get like thousands upon thousands if you were giving 4 tickets to September 19th against LSU.
I think that's going to be a real hard ticket to find. Don't get me wrong. I asked the athletic department, and they kind of just said, maybe a different year. So
yeah, I'm just saying, like, I'm helping you for the future. We know where to log, because this is something that I know that I would have loved. Before I became a professional, I'm trying to act professional. I'm like, damn, I can do the Walk of Champions. Y'all know this is not Talk of Champions because of some storied trophy history for Ole Miss. They have a lot of trophies because of the Walk of Champions. Me and Kentrell Lockett, former Ole Miss football player, said, let's call it Talk of Champions, and we put a microphone with an arch, and now you can walk down the Walk of Champions as a part of the team. Where else can you do that, or when else could you do that but in 2026? And through Thropic, who's putting on the Rebel Rivalry Challenge with Trinidad, Chambliss, and Kewan, Lacy. He's Kyle Christensen. Thank you so much, man. This is awesome. Appreciate
it, Kyle.
Gentlemen, well done.
That was Kyle Christensen, CEO of Thropic. Man, play that game, that QR code that's right above Brad's head. Brad is live from the Grove Collective Tailgate at Swayze Field. A doubleheader coming for Ole Miss baseball this afternoon, 2 9-inning games after Ole Miss on the Herculean back of one Hunter Elliott and joining Drew Pomeranz and Lance Lynn as the only 3 Rebel pitchers to knock out 300 career strikeouts, if not more. 5-3 win over number 9 Texas A&M. If they win today, they're well on their way to hosting. You sweep it, man, you're cooking with bacon grease, and that's where Brad is right now. Brad, the Thropic game with Kyle Christensen, the Rebel rivalry with Kewan and Trinidad, man, Ole Miss fans need to get involved in it, dude, because it's I'm telling you, I've already entered us in. We're good. If we win, we're not going to walk down the Walk of Champions. I'll video whatever Talk of Champions winner we just picked to do that for us. But what a cool opportunity for Ole Miss fans.
Yeah, it really is, and I appreciate Kyle joining us. We'll push out that link on all of our social channels, just like we said in the interview, and it's a great opportunity to play games with all the Ole Miss fans. And the most important part as a fan, you can give back to the program. As you look over my right shoulder, you'll see left field as I've moved over to kind of give everyone a little bit of a view about how beautiful it is out here today. It's a beautiful day for baseball. Ole Miss will be playing 2 today against Texas A&M. We just left the Grove Collective tent. And could not thank William Evans, the director of development, along with Walker Jones, the executive director. A great crowd over there today. We actually had a chance to visit with Coach Chris Malloy. If you missed it, you've got to go back and listen to it. It was right in front of that 2026 SEC championship. And I was talking to the SEC Coach of the Year. So it was a really cool moment. We were inside the Grove Collective tent. And also our good friend Nicholas Carr, who has a great show on the network. And we're going to make sure we're trying to get that on a video platform as well. But he has the gambling show, and it's a really good listen. It's a great day, and it's been a beautiful day to do this, and we can't thank the Grove Collective enough for allowing us to visit with them. I want to thank Chris Malloy as well. But as we stand here out front of Swayze Field, they've got 2 big ones today, and you look at what they can accomplish today, Ben. You said it earlier. If they get these 2 today and they sweep Texas A&M, that means you only have to get 1 on the road at Alabama. But I like Ole Miss's chances to win that series if they're playing that well. Not to mention what they can do in the SEC tournament. On the flip side, you don't need to get swept because that really puts your back against the wall. Getting in the NCAA tournament, that's not an issue. What Ole Miss fans want to do, they want to host right behind me. They want to host in this beautiful facility here that has been built. This place was built to host regionals, and Ole Miss has got a little work to do to host here. But how cool would it be for this team to be able to host and be a national seed? I don't think that's out of the equation, too. It's going to take a really serious run to do that. But today, it's a beautiful day for baseball. I know the people are just piling in here. It's graduation on campus, and what a beautiful day God has given us to have graduation here on campus and people getting a chance to see this campus. And before I get out of here, had a great interview yesterday, and the specific topic was, what do you think about Ole Miss? And we had a chance to visit with the track star who is the national champion and has won the shot, and he's trying to win the hammer. But if you look at this, he talks about, his mom. And what we're talking about is, do you want to come to Ole Miss? Not really sure from a mom standpoint. Don't know if I want to allow him to go there. But what I thought was really cool is he pointed out that he would love to go to Ole Miss. And the relationship that he had, Tariq Robinson O'Hagan, the national champion, the NCAA champion, the gold medal winner, he said, I'm going to Ole Miss. And then he had to sell his mom. Well, when his mom got here, not only did she say, yeah, you absolutely can go there, but I'm thinking about moving there too. So Tariq, I should say, talked about coming to Ole Miss and bringing his mom to a ball game and bringing him to a football game. And it's just that collective effort of the fan engagement, the perfect circle between Chancellor Boyce and Keith Carter and Denson Hollis and Pete Golding and Chris Malloy. Everybody kind of working in the same motion, working in the same conjunction, along with Walker Jones and the Grove Collective. That's what it's all about, and that's kind of what we're seeing here today is the people are all over the place. They're really excited about seeing Ole Miss with an opportunity to win the series here today, possibly sweep Texas A&M. This A&M team coming in is ranked number 5 in the country. The Rebels looking to host here in Oxford, the place it is meant to host postseason baseball, Ben.
Well said, Brad, and great work over there at Swayze Field at the Grove Collective Tailgate. You mentioned kind of how, like, the community, the day that it is, the God bless, God kiss community and day that it is. And this show, I hope, is a good proof of concept of what me and Brad have been talking about ever since we joined forces, is that we want to be everywhere. I mean, how many of you got to go to the Grove Collective or would have gotten to go to the Grove Collective Tailgate if not for this? And we want to be at all those things, including when Trinidad, Chambliss, or Kewan, Lacy says hello or walks down the Walk of Champions with you, the winner of the Rebel Rivalry, a game being put on, an online game you can play for free with an incredible prize pack that you just have to try out with this QR code on our screen. You can also go to the Ole Miss Spirit, OleMissSpirit.com. Affiliate of On 3, we're going to be talking even more about not just the Rebel Rivalry and Thropic and today's incredible series in Oxford, Mississippi between Texas A&M and Ole Miss, but all things Ole Miss. And be it football, recruiting, basketball, or baseball. Thank you all in the chat for joining us. Go ahead, buddy.
One more quick thing before we get out of here today. You know, Ben, you and I talked specifically about what we wanted to do with the Talk of Champions. I've said this before, and I'll say it and reiterate it here because so many people are online watching. Many of you are first-time watchers. Thank you. This will be available from an audio platform. I know I talked to a couple of people that says can't wait to listen to the podcast. That'll be available as soon as we're finished here. But for folks that are watching live right now, we just want to say thank you. And, you know, we are – here for one sole purpose, and that is for the folks in Vermont and Rhode Island, the folks in California that don't get a chance to see this beautiful stadium on this beautiful day, that maybe you had someone graduating today and you wanted to be here and you were here in spirit. Now we are allowing you to see what this beautiful place looks like today. And to be able to be the eyes and ears for all of you back home. Maybe you couldn't be here. Maybe you're dealing with some health issues and you couldn't make it to the game today, or maybe you're dealing with some financial issues, you couldn't make it, you had to work. If we, Ben and I and Zach, who joined us today, and everybody that joined us could be just a small part of your fandom of Ole Miss sports, and we've done our job. And we want to thank you for allowing us to come into your homes, to your devices, and just to let you have a little bit of a taste of how awesome Oxford is. And it's an honor to be able to come to you today and to provide just a little bit of insight about this beautiful day that God has given us today. Ole Miss baseball, graduation, and everything and all points in between. And Ben, it's been a pleasure to come to all of you, all of your living room and your devices here today from Oxford.
Like Brad said, there's graduations happening on campus too, not just that huge series, last two games, doubleheader today with Texas A&M in baseball. Here's Trinidad Chambliss walking the stage. He is an official graduate of Ole Miss, and what a congratulations we need to send his way, and to all of those that are walking the stage, the athletes, just the students themselves, those of you in the chat. Look to celebrate with y'all as y'all get to commemorate this day, this memorable day with graduation. Before we leave, I wanted to touch on one more thing because it came across the feed as everything was going down. Bobby Cox, the legendary Braves manager, Atlanta Braves, doesn't have anything to do with Ole Miss, but if you've paid attention at all to Talk of Champions, you know how big of a Braves fan I am. I know how big of a Braves fan Brad is too. I've got this bobblehead. I used to collect them, still do to an extent, of Freddie Freeman catching the last out of the World Series win, one of the greatest team accomplishments ever. Now, Bobby didn't manage that team, but Bobby did manage the last team that won the World Series and had Greg Maddux and John Smoltz and Tom Glavine in the staff. But he set the bar for what managers were in baseball to me. And for so many, I'm sure, baseball fans in the South, this is a sad, sad day to hear that Bobby Cox is no longer with us. But what an absolute legacy this man left.
No doubt.
And I just wanted to touch on that because, like you said, Brad, the community that we live in and we work in and operate every single day, this is tied to that in a way. I'm sure there are many other Ole Miss fans who are sad today as well because Bobby Cox is no longer with us. What an absolute legend he was.
He was. And, Ben, I've told you I'm having a chance to go to a Braves game in a couple of months, and I'm so excited. I try to go to one a year. But Bobby Cox was in our living room a lot. We lost almost all of our, Atlanta Braves radio crew with the exception of, I think, Don Simpson. Am I saying that right?
Ernie's gone. Pete Van Weeren's gone. Skip's gone.
I think Simpson is still here with us. I think he works some with Ben Ingram, who does a great job as voice of the Atlanta Braves radio
There's
network.
An Ole Miss guy for you. Shout out to our boy Ben Ingram. I love Ben Ingram, man. I'm going to get him on the pod soon.
We've got to get him on when everything's settled down a little bit. But, yeah, it's a sad day. And so many of our lives, whether it be as kids or as adults, or center around, Major League Baseball. And for me, it was the Atlanta Braves. And so knowing the Bobby is gone, it puts a sadness in my heart. But knowing that the Atlanta Braves are in great hands, and I'm really excited to get to see them play. And I know they will honor him the right way over the next couple of weeks inside Truist Park.
For most every Ole Miss fan, from here until the end of time, they'll associate number 6 most likely with Trinidad Chambliss.
How you, sir?
Number six for me, my entire life, has always been associated with Bobby Cox. Rest in peace to the greatest skipper for my money. Yeah, he frustrated the heck out of me with some of his decisions, but nobody cared about his players more, went to the mats to fight for his players more than Bobby Cox. And in my opinion, the best skipper to ever live. Still don't know how we only won one World Series with that starting rotation, but that's neither here nor there. God bless Bobby Cox. God bless all of you. God bless Brad, who's where every one of us want to be right now, Oxford, Mississippi. So much is happening. Buddy, I'll see you next week. Talk of Champions back Monday morning at 10 a.m. Me and Brad will have a guest, hopefully. Until then, thank you, buddy. Have a good time.
We have a big lineup next week. We're finalizing all of our guests. We do know Tim Brando will join us on Wednesday. Tim's been very vocal on the social channels about his 2014 playoff opinion, so we'll have that. Also, Ben couldn't do it. We do all of our sponsors. Thank you again for sponsoring all of us here. It's very much appreciated, and it's an absolute privilege to join everybody today. Thanks, everybody.
See you, Brad. I'll see you on Monday.